Shabbat Shalom. It's good to see you all here, and it's good to be seen out there in TV land as we are streaming. If you are here and you are in your car and you are receiving us on the certain frequency, I believe it is 94.9, 95.3, somewhere in there, WTSE 95.1, give us a honk. If you're in the crowd out here, say beep, beep. There we go. That's better. All right. Shabbat Shalom. I'm Cantor Wally Shackett Briskin. Welcome to Temple Sheri-Emeth. Rabbi Pankin is off this week. It's my pleasure to give you the following announcements of upcoming events. Torah study will take place at 9 a.m. tomorrow and at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. Summer Blessings Bags Assembly will be in our social hall on Sunday at 10 a.m. Religious school registration is now open online on our website. And if you're a student in our religious school and you'd like some reinforcement in prayers and letters and vowels, please come to our summer Hebrew enrichment taking place on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. Our choir is meeting now and getting ready for High Holy Days. We rehearse on Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. If you're a singer and you would like to join us, please let us know you're coming, and sheet music will be provided. The month of Elul will be here in a couple of weeks, and that is a 4-week period of preparing our souls for the days of awe. This year, we and our area Jewish clergy will be providing 4 installments, 1 per week, of thought-provoking and uplifting short videos to begin to put you in the mindset for our upcoming holy days. So check our website soon for the presentations. The local food banks, including Open Door, Casa Freehold, and other local agencies, are particularly in need of diapers and feminine products, canned fruit, rice, dish and laundry soap, and toilet paper, so keep your contributions coming. Be sure to join us if you're here for Oneg Shabbat tonight for Hot Diggity Dogs and cold beer, both of which are optional, of course. Next Friday is Ice Cream You Scream for Shabbat, followed the following week by Snack Cake Shabbat, and then Snow Cone Shabbat and Tropical Shabbat, all here at 7:30 p.m., live streamed, and available on demand after our live broadcast, as soon as Glenn can run over to the film processing shop and wait to see what develops. Details and signups and more can always be found on our website, sheriemeth.org. And now to our contributions. We wouldn't be able to exist as a temple without your generous donations. This week, donations were made in memory of Eugene Paris, Carrie Cart, Susan Scher, Harvey Katz, and Susan Dratch. And in memory of, on the yard site of, Ronald Schwartz, Betty Freeman, Harry Metz, Jason Garber, Ethel Parness, Esther Chaikin, Ronald Novins, Fanny Wollman, Gertrude Bruckman, Ralph A. Cohn, Amy Canner, Julius Zeitlin, Morris Kramer, and Sylvia Solomon. And in honor of the Ufruf of Benjamin Shevlin and Elsa Cohen, and for the complete and speedy recovery of Judy Darkowski, Rob Lieberman, Gail Wolfberg, and Iris Schubert. So now it's Shabbat. We take in our beautiful surroundings, take a breath, take in the sunset, take in the oxygen that this tree that we're sitting under is giving us. Just take a moment to breathe in the last little bits of the week as we're about to welcome Shabbat. Shabbat gives us the time to breathe a little bit. As we welcome our Sabbath day with candles and Kiddush, it's my pleasure to call up the Goto family, Stacy, Glenn, and Sam, to help lead us in the candle lighting and the Kiddush.
Interesting. The arc of evening slowly turning, the sun's blue shadows washed away. The gates still open as 3 stars wait to pierce the sky. In the corridor where night bears its maze, you begin to begin again. Can you do this? Ata. Yeah, reach in. That's it. That's good. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Together, let us hallow the Sabbath day in remembrance of creation. As we bless the source of life, so are we blessed.
Stars reflect off heaven's hem as Shabbat enters quietly. Other over away all week. Shabbat is the fruit of 6 days' imaginings.
Hushed and soft, with tender smile, Shabbat greets us as we raise our cups. Shabbat perches upon the rim and nods as we bless and praise and remember.
Come again to us, gracious host. Fill our hearts with peace. Come sing with us, sweet singer. We fill our mouths with praise.
Surround us with Shabbat's beauty, all time in a day. Surround us with the faces of our dear ones, now and then and still to be.
Come again to us, gracious host. Come again as Shabbat is seated at our table. Come sing with us, sweet singer, as Shabbat fills our home with peace. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Borei Peri Hagafen.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'i kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch Ata Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. Thank you very much. We'll continue with Lecha Dodi, a blessing, a greeting of the Sabbath bride or the Sabbath queen. You can find it on the next page. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shabbat tekabelha Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Yishmi'anu Elah ha'miyuchad Adonai echad U'shemo echad L'shem u'tiferet v'litehila Lecha dodi likrat kala Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, likrat Shabbat lechu v'nei lecha, ki mekor haberacha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, Ki toreri, kiva orek umi ori, uri shir taveri, kevod Adonai alayich nigla, lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. We rise as if we are welcoming the Sabbath Queen. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat nekabela. Please be seated. We read responsively. Among our many appetites, there is a craving after God. It's a talent for worshiping God. Jews who wandered in the deserts beneath the stars knew their hearts were hungry for God. Jews who studied in candlelit ghetto rooms thirsted longingly after God. In tent or slum, Jewish women prayed to God. But we who are smothered with comfort sometimes forget to listen. Help us, O God, to recognize our need, to hear the yearning whisper of our hearts. Help us to seek the silence of the desert and the thoughtfulness of the house of study. Bless us like our ancestors in ancient days with that most precious gift, a sense of your presence. Brush us with the wind of your being. Fill us with the awe of your holiness. We too will praise, glorify, and exalt your name. Yitgadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala, uvizaman kari, ve'meru, amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevarach, le'alam u'la'alamei alamaya, yitbarach, ve'yishtabach, ve'yitpa'ar, ve'yitromam, ve'yitnaseh, ve'yithadar, ve'yit'aleh, ve'yithalal, shemei d'kudsha berichu, le'ela min kol birchata ve'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran melma v'meru. Amen. Please rise for our call to worship. La 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 la. La 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 la. Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach I have not seen the robin, but I know he is there because I heard him singing through my window from the treetop outside. I have not seen God, but I have looked at my child's eyes and have been overwhelmed by the miracle of unfolding life. I have watched the trees bedeck themselves with new garbs of green in the spring and have been stirred by the miracle of continued birth. I have looked at the stars and been overcome by the miracle of the grandeur and the majesty of the universe. I know that God exists because I have heard the song of God's presence from all the treetops of creation. At the bottom of page 7. Ahavat olam et Yisrael amcha Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu v'shochbenu, uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto Leolam, Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. And you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be upon your heart, shall be upon your heart, and you shall bind them for a sign upon your hands, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates, and upon your gates. sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and when you rise up, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God. Together, sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravaged by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Ya ba ba bim bim ba, ya ba 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 bim bam, ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam. Ay 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 ay, ya ba ba bim bam. Ay 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 ay, ya ba ba bim bam. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar hakodesh. Nora tehilot osefel, Nora tehilot osefel, Malechutecha ra'uvanecha, Okei ayam livnei Moshe uMiriam, Ze anu te'ameru, Adonai meloch leolam va'ed. Ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam, ya ba bim bim bam, ya ba bim bam. Ay 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 ay, ya ba bim bam. Ay 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 ay, ya ba bim bam. V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov, uge'alo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael. We pray for a good night of peace, for God to shelter and shield us as we sleep. At the top of the next page, Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom, leshalom, le'ha'amidenu shomreinu lechaim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, O God, wrong from right. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe ask God to guard over us, what are we supposed to guard over? We should guard Shabbat and shield Shabbat and pray and protect Shabbat throughout the ages. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Please rise for our Amidah. Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomel chasadim tovim v'konei hakol v'zocher chasdei avot v'imahot u'mevi yula livnei v'nehem למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחלקי לחיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated. Together at the top of page 14. All the invisible things fill our days. Music and love and laughter. All the intangible things affect us. Words and anger and prejudice. You are invisible and intangible, a God of moods and relationships. Within us, you are the spirit of unity. Beyond us, you are the guide to greatness. We pray to you with an invisible, intangible prayer. You answer us with a flaming sunset and the touch of a baby's cheek. Our prayer for peace on page 15. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. 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 Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael. B'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. We pause for a moment of silent prayer. רצון אמרי פי בהגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי אדוני ratzon imre fi v'hegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri v'goali Adonai tzuri v'goali. In this week's Torah portion, Vayetchanan, God is acting like a king. Moses is acting like a nobleman. God is a benevolent overlord and simply asks that we follow God's rules and show loyalty. Moses, for his part, orders Bnei Yisrael to pay attention and to obey God's commandments in order to be worthy of the land they are about to receive. We are told, Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha. These words that might sound familiar to you that come from this week's Torah portion. You, each one of you individually, should show your love for Adonai with all of your lev, with all of your heart, with all of your nefesh, with all of your soul, and with all of your me'ud, with all of your very. With all of the veriness of you. Maybe you're with your very self. It brings up a lot of imagery of kings and of love and of following instructions, and it reminds me of a folktale from Poland called Rachel the Clever. Once, long ago, there lived a king who was very proud of his clever wits. So proud of them was he that he vowed to marry only a woman who was as clever as he was. Now one day the king stopped at an inn. There he heard the innkeeper boasting about his daughter Rachel, who was so clever. Ask, how clever was she? She was so clever she could solve any riddle. The king frowned. I don't like liars, he told the innkeeper. I will ask you 3 riddles. If your daughter can solve them, you will be rewarded. But if she fails, you shall lose your inn. First, what is the fastest thing? Second, what is the richest thing? Third, what is the dearest thing? I'll let you ponder that for a little bit. Maybe you're as clever as Rachel. First, what is the fastest thing? Second, what is the richest thing? Third, what is the dearest thing? Any guesses? Think. Well, sadly, the innkeeper went home to his daughter Rachel and told her what the king had said. Rachel smiled. You won't lose the inn, father. Go to the king and tell him that thought is the fastest thing, that life-giving earth is the richest thing, and that love is the dearest thing. Well, when the king heard these answers, he frowned again. He had vowed only to wed a woman who was as clever as he was. Could that woman be Rachel, a common innkeeper's daughter? If Rachel is as clever as she seems, he told the innkeeper, I wish to meet her. She must come to my palace in 3 days. But she must come neither walking nor riding, neither dressed nor undressed, and bringing a gift that is not a gift. Sadly, the innkeeper went home, sure that Rachel could never solve this puzzle. But Rachel thought for only a few moments, then she smiled, said, Don't worry, father, I know what to do. Please buy me a goat, a fishing net, and 2 doves. Bewildered, the innkeeper did as he was asked. Rachel wrapped herself in the fishing net, and sat on the goat so that one leg dragged on the ground. Clutching the doves, she set off for the royal palace. "I'm Rachel, the innkeeper's daughter," she told the king with a grin. "I've come to you, neither riding nor walking, as you see. With this fishing net wrapped around me, I'm neither dressed nor undressed." The king felt himself starting to smile. "And the gift that is not a gift? Here!" Rachel released the 2 doves. Before the king could catch them, they fluttered wildly out the window. The king burst into laughter. "That was certainly a gift that was not a gift," he said. Now Rachel was as pretty and kind as she was clever, and the king, when he forgot about being proud, was equally handsome and just as kind. They looked at each other once, and they liked what they saw. They looked at each other twice, and forgot that he was a king and she was only an innkeeper's daughter. They looked at each other 3 times, and the king said, "I wanted to marry a clever woman. You are surely she. Rachel, will you marry me?" Rachel happily agreed. But all at once the king remembered to be proud. He said, "But you must remember never to disagree with any of the judgments I make at court," he warned. Rachel sighed. "Very well." So the king and the innkeeper's daughter were married and lived so happily. How happily were they? Thank you. They lived so happily that for a long time the king forgot about his pride. But one day Rachel saw a peasant at court with a sad, sad face. He said, "I own a mare that gave birth under my neighbor's wagon," he told her. "The king has ruled that the foal belongs to my neighbor." "Well, that's not right," cried Rachel. "Go stand under the king's window with a fishing rod and pretend you're catching fish." The peasant obeyed. When the king asked him how he could catch fish on a marble floor, the peasant answered, as Rachel had told him, "If a wagon can give birth to a foal, then I can catch fish from a marble floor." When the king heard this answer, he knew that only Rachel could have given it. His pride overpowered his love. "Since you have broken our agreement," he told Rachel, "you must leave the palace." Even as he said these harsh words, the king felt his heart break. But his pride was still stronger than his love. "You must leave," he repeated, "but you may take your dearest possession with you." Well, Rachel didn't weep or wail. Instead, she slipped a sleeping potion into the king's cup. As soon as he was sleeping soundly that evening, Rachel wrapped him in a blanket, hoisted him up onto her back, and carried him out into the night. The guards, remembering what the king had said and thinking that Rachel was carrying a golden treasure, never stopped her. The king woke to the sound of birds and found himself lying under a tree in the middle of a grassy field. Rachel was beside him. "What? Why?" the king stammered. "What am I doing here?" Rachel smiled gently. "I was following your order," she said. "You told me I could take my dearest possession with me, and that, my love, is you." The king looked into Rachel's warm eyes, and as he looked, he forgot all about his pride, this time forever. "Will you forgive me?" he asked. "Of course. And will you listen to me before you make your judgments?" "Of course." "Come, my dearest possession," said the king. "Let us go home." Oh, applause. Applause for the story. We take time each week to think of those who are in need of recovery, who are in need of healing. And so this Friday evening, we think especially of Nika Mandelberg, Daniel Minerva, Lori Schulman, Stephen Rice, Jordan Silverman, Richard Cohen, Nahama Leah, Karen Pine, Elliot Rudick, Erwin Young, Gabby Bursey, Allison Sack, Mort Cohen, Colleen Syatt, Ron Klug, Robert Bellino, Marilyn Jacobs, Daniel Gross, Adam Schifrin, Saul Sharkovsky, Mary Leahy and Courtney Woods, Brian Roche, Adrian Viola, Leona Jacobson, Barry Gellis, Kenneth Tankus, Itu Fang, Grace West, Leanne Hayon, William Polino, Joseph Meyer, Fira Schwartz, Mirta Burston, Adriana Puza, Spencer Gray Rothstein, Benita Apple, Elka Pravdagans, Brody Scheer, Harvey Joseph, Sheldon Polish, Rob Lieberman. If there are other names that people would like to add for those who are in need of healing, please do so now. For all those in need of healing, we ask the one who grants healing and complete wholeness and renewal of body and spirit to all, to grant refuah shlema, a complete healing to those who are in need. And let us say, Amen. Misheberach avoteinu makor habaracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu makor habaracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Please rise for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vigor aleinu kechol hamonam, vanachnu korim, Umishtachavim umodim lifnei Malach Malchei Hamlachim Hakadosh Baruch Hu Shehu Noteh Shamayim v'Yosed Aretz Umoshav Yikaro b'Shamayim Imal Ushkinatu zo B'Govhei Meromim Hu Eloheinu Einod, Emet Malkeinu Efezulato, Kakatuv B'Torato, V'yadata hayom v'hashevota elevavecha, Ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim, B'shamayim imal, Ve'al haaretz mitachat einod. Please be seated. Let's read together. And then compassion will be wedded to power, and then softness will come to a world that is harsh and unkind, and then both men and women will be gentle, and then both women and men will be strong. And then no person will be subject to another's will. And then all will be rich and free and varied. And then the greed of some will give way to the needs of many. And then all will share equally in the earth's abundance. And then all will care for the sick and the weak and the old. And then all will nourish the young. And then all will cherish life's creatures. And then all will live in harmony with each other and the earth, and then everywhere will be called Eden once again. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad. Let's read responsively. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the leaves and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. As long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. Tonight, we especially remember the more than 625,000 Americans who have succumbed to COVID-19, over 4,116,000 in the world. We think of those whose families are in the 7-day mourning period of Shiva: Eva Schnitzler-Blankenstein, Harvey Katz, father of Jeffrey Katz and father-in-law of Merrill Katz, grandfather of David and Lauren, and Susan Dratch, sister of Merrill Katz, sister-in-law of Jeffrey Katz, aunt of David and Lauren. We think of those whose families are in the 30-day period of Shloshim: Genevieve Akampora, David Mangat, Eugene Paris. And we think of those whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of their death, falls this week: Lillian Anderman Russoff, Robert Berliner, Samuel Bershad, Jerome P. Bittkower, Betty Brown, Gertrude Buckman, Esther Chaikin, Mona Chaitkin, Philip Chesler, Dorothy Chozik, Jill Robin Cohen, Ralph A. Cohn, Becky Fine, Betty Freeman, Jason Garber, Frida Grossman, Morris Horn, Amy Canner, Lillian Cantor, Ethel Kirstein, Mel Kessler, Benjamin Kibrick, Sylvia Kirshner-Connor, Edna Clapp-Poltz, Terry Klein, Trudy Comito, Rose Kornblue, Dr. Barry S. Marquit, Harry Metz, Morris Moskowitz, Bernard Novick, Ronald Novins, Sylvia Pankin, Bruce Pankin, Ethel Parness, Oscar Popper, Celia Rabinowitz, Harriet Raphael, Max Rosenberg, Louis Rosenstock, Sandra Drostowski, Samuel Salos, Annette Scher, Max K. Schlem, Max Schlem, Pauline Schubert, Ronald Schwartz, Florence Shane, Blossom Stevens, Miriam Tepp, Florence Thurm, Morris Tubin, Natalie Weissman, Abraham Welkin, Fanny Woolman, Frank Zarrow, Walter Ziff. And each week we call to mind 6 unique individuals who perished in the Shoah, the Holocaust: Moshe Orlovsky, Shlomo Steinberg, Yehuda Margulis, Moshe Postolov, Aaron Lewin, Fania Rabinovich. Grateful for their memories, we rise as one loving community to recite the words of the Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam l'alamei alamaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yit hadar v'yit aleh v'yit halal shemei dekudsha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, as together we say, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru Amen. Please be seated. If there's any good news that anyone would like to share, this is a tradition that we do sometimes at our services. We ask for anyone who is interested to share news with the community of something good that happened this week.
My son came home from camp.
Glenn's son came home from camp. Huzzah! Cantor Wally came back from being away. Thank you. And you're all here. Sweet. For those of you at home, there was the clergy was able to take care, or the community was able to take care of one of our members, and the sun came through just as, it lit her up like no one else. And we're sure that was Mom shining through. Good. Ellie. You have a 7-year-old grandson after tomorrow. Happy birthday to Ellie's grandson. And you know what else? There's hot dogs and beer tonight. That's good news for anyone who's interested. See, you should have been here. There you go. And so, we will close with Hamotzi and Oseh Shalom. And so, we reveal, here we go. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our prayer is joyfully said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. You can make hot dog buns out of that. That's good. Please join me. Oseh shalom, shalom bimromav, ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru. Shalom mimromav, ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'im amen. Ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Shalom, shalom bimromav, ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael, we invite you to put your hands over your heart, or if you're safe with a pod that's around you, to spread some love around you as we welcomed each other in peace. We say goodbye to each other in peace. Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yichun God lift up God's countenance upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you feel God's presence around you always, and may you always know peace. Shabbat Shalom. For those of you who are here and for those who happen to make hot dogs at home, you are welcome to go over to our barbecue and enjoy a hot dog or two. We say to everyone, Shabbat Shalom. I were an Oscar Mayer wiener. That is what I'd truly like to be. 'Cause if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener, everyone would be in love with me. That was the encore. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.